everyone. This is BeerThralls. Oh God, you know what? I hang on you guys so much.
BeerThralls Beer Protocol. Let's go.
God dang it! I'm James.
It's time to beer it up.
I'm James. I'm just drinking water today.
Why?
I've been fighting a sinus
James.
infection. I'm just full of like Dayquil and stuff.
That's
you
the
go-
perfect. That's the best time to drink.
Did you go too hard yesterday, James?
Friday actually.
Yeah,
So, and who are you, person who didn't go too hard? Wait, just sounded really wrong.
Not that you know.
I say just like fade out into oblivion.
Edit. All right.
No editing. You don't know how to do that, James.
You can't edit us, James.
I can.
All right, I'm just gonna leave that as is. Did Matt go?
No, it's your
No.
go.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm drinking a Moscow Mule.
Yay!
This is Jacob. I'm also drinking a Moscow Mule.
I made him.
Are you drinking the same one, or like is like the camera just like you shift over a little bit? You're just drinking the same glass.
I mean, no, they're clearly two different cups, James.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be more
Sure.
observant.
Sure they
From
are.
our friends in Indianapolis at the Ram.
Might I
Yeah.
want it the Jersey Shore?
All right.
I should have done anything with my hair other than what I have done for this.
Tink.
Pink
Clink.
Today we're gonna talk about carnage
and violence.
Violence everywhere.
Yay, violence!
I'll just quietly take this Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme card and put it off to one side. So, Carnage is an exciting release for the Spider Foes. Finally, they get someone to put those web heads in their place with violence.
God. By the way,
I mean, Venom did that.
Painting him, if you're not looked at the Facebook page, I've actually
Awful.
painted my little red blob.
It's fucking awful.
It's horrific to paint, because of all the little black lines.
You'd think it'd be easy being three colors: white,
Well,
black, and red. No.
I also did mine with blues, greens, and a bunch of other colors too. But
yeah,
anyway,
but you're an actual good painter. I'm
insane.
taking the easy way out, and I sprayed it red, and now I'm coming in and putting black lines on it.
So the best way to do the black lines,
we are tabletop painters.
The best way that I've learned to do the lines, the little black lines, is kind of like do a dry brush. Like you just put some paint on a brush, kind of get a little bit off, and then don't dry brush where you just kind of like hit the whole thing. Kind of start swinging back and forth with your brush, and get closer and closer to the model until those lines start to get hit, and then go back and take a small brush and actually fill in the gaps.
Hey Jake, you know what I heard out of that? I heard you should hire 13th hour miniatures just to do it for you.
Oh God, please no! I've had to paint like 17 carnages this week. Also,
my hair is now slightly more controlled.
You need to
sure.
If you want to be like completely insane, where the lines actually meet, if you go with like I think the ultimate carnage, add a little bit of blue to the black to kind of highlight the lines, which I did.
Or you could just buy coal black and it does it for you.
Get coal black from the Privateer Press line. It's got blue mixed with black.
Did I actually? Yeah, it's coal black with a little bit of blue mixed in. So yeah,
so I've recently done Venom almost entirely in coal black. We have moved, some of us, so our arrangements are not the same as they used to be. I do not have my models in front of me like I used to. We're going to put those in a different part of the house. Otherwise, I'd be holding it up going, look, I painted too. I'm not a worthless table scrub.
No, we're still worthless table scrubs, but at least we have painted models.
Yes.
All of which is to say, Carnage is a 7 stamina, medium moving, size 2, 4 threat model.
That wasn't a segue. That was a train running right into it.
So far, a 4 threat model on the healthy side with 7 health is notable. We're like, oh, someone's a little tanky. James, tell us about Carnage's defenses.
He's got 5 physical defense.
Yeah.
So his first attack is there's more.
No, you didn't miss anything.
No, there really isn't.
Numbers.
As I saw someone put it, Carnage has the unique rule in Marvel Crisis Protocol that Incinerate does not affect his energy or mystic defenses.
Absolutely true. Incinerate brings you down to a 1, which means that doesn't really care about Incinerate.
He has ones for
Yeah.
energy and mystic, and unlike other characters who have very high and otherwise low defensive stats, he does not have any rules which spin that around or make it better. He
Nope.
just has one.
Nope. He is just full on hit. Don't hit me in the face with your fist. You use something else. All right. So we got this first attack, Symbiote Tendrils. Jake, what is it?
Countdowns are meaningless.
Yes.
Symbiote Tendrils is a physical attack with range 3, 5 dice on the attack, and 0 cost. It's a builder. After this attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to the damage dealt. After this attack is resolved, the target character gains the Bleed special condition. As a quick reminder, Bleed causes that character 1 damage at the end of their activation.
So what I'm seeing is he really wants to run around with Blade.
Yes,
Oh,
this would
God.
be an interesting pairing with Blade.
didn't think
So
about that.
Symbiote Tendrils. What I'll say about it is range 3 on a 50mm base, which Carnage has, is a good chunk of range. That's probably close to a range 4 on another character. So Carnage has reach.
It will be important later.
That otherwise it's a super straightforward builder. Automatic Bleed is interesting and has actually some synergy with a number of characters, both as we mentioned, Blade, but also Hela gets additional damage against bleeding targets. So
I
this
forgot
gives
about that.
Carnage some potential synergy with one of the older releases that doesn't get taken as much anymore, but would otherwise very much like Automatic Bleed. All right, finally, his spender, Maximum Carnage. Physical attack, A2. So it's going to hit everything within range 2 of Carnage, which again, on the size of his base, is pretty big. 7 dice base, 5 costs to play. After each attack is resolved, the target character gains the Bleed special condition. Again, automatic bleed for everyone around him. Just to remember, AoEs by default do include friendlies.
Mm-hmm.
So Carnage will do friendly fire with this. Then, if you get a wild and one of y'all with a card that's not a resolution image on the screen, is that a hit?
It's a hit.
Wild and a hit. Pretty common. After each attack is resolved, deal 1 damage to each other enemy character within range 2 of this character. So what does that mean? So let's say you have 3 targets within your AoE 2. When you attack the first one, you trigger Rampage and automatically deal 1 damage to each other enemy within 2 of Carnage.
Mhm.
So if you have 3 characters, assuming they're all enemies, if you have 3 characters, trigger Rampage on the first attack, automatic 1 damage to the other 2. Hit the second one, trigger Rampage again, do an automatic 1 damage to the other 2. So now the third character has taken 2 automatic damage before Carnage even hits him with the 7 dice physical attack.
Yep.
What's also pretty cute is if you have friendlies mixed in, they will not be affected by the free damage, but Carnage can still trigger it when he attacks them.
Yep.
Because Carnage will still attack them with the 7 dice attack, which could trigger Rampage and deal more automatic damage to all enemies.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So since you have a
can't
little
wait to
more,
do it with your spider friends.
yeah, I will talk about that one in a bit. So Maximum Carnage is a big AoE splash. You're gonna throw Carnage. He's gonna jump on a point, and he's gonna try to wipe out the whole point. So let's see how he's gonna get there and do that. First reaction. Oh no, passive ability. Sadistic Glee.
So he's going to do maximum carnage with sadistic glee. Got it.
Potentially.
Okay.
For 2 power, during the next attack action made by this character this turn, add 2 dice to the attack rolls. After each attack is resolved, if the attack roll contains any skulls, this character suffers 1 damage. This superpower can be used only once per turn. So, 2 power to potentially hurt yourself for 1, but add 2 dice to any of your next attack rolls. Friday AI can go suck it.
So
Because Friday AI makes you spend like 4 to add like 3 dice, I think, or maybe even just 2. I'm gonna look it up because this is one more reason for me to dunk on Iron Man.
So here's a question, and it's on timing.
Uh-huh.
If I did statistically into maximum carnage, the area effect is automatic. So everything gets hit at the same time, or am I going one person to one person to one person? So If I do
I'm gonna
sadistically,
I'm
then
gonna
do
say one person, just after each attack is resolved.
okay.
So
So
what I'll point out, sadistically reads during the next attack action, add 2 dice to its attack rolls. Sadistically buffs every attack of maximum carnage.
right, but can I kill myself in the middle of
Yep.
a maximum carnage?
Damn right you can.
Okay.
Yep,
so,
because after
and it
each
wouldn't
attack is
carry over.
resolved.
It wouldn't carry over. Like, so if I had 3 people, I hit the first one, I hit the second one, I die. The third one would not get part of the attack.
Correct. In general, if a model can no longer make a legal attack, the action stops right there.
All right.
So since you get to choose the order of those attacks, you would probably, if you're at that much risk of being knocked out by sadistically, you'd probably target friendlies last. I don't know, stuff like that.
Yes, that is true. Also, you can target when you're doing the AFX. That you're doing AFX. You can choose who you target in what order.
Yeah. So it's not like I do not believe beams require you to resolve them in any specific order either.
No, they don't.
I definitely know the area attacks do not, because that'd be kind of a mess. That'd be some War Machine level rules lawyering, and we're not here about that. All right, so sadistically, Carnage has a lot of health. His defenses are kind of bad if it's not physical. But if he's in an area where physical damage is mostly what he's going up against, his defense is sky high and he's got a lot of health. So I think sadistically is an easy choice.
Yeah, I think sadistically is an easy choice, especially if you're doing maximum carnage. But you're going to have if you were on 10 power, the next thing he has on his card is the reason why you're going to spend all 10 power in one turn.
So let's go look at the next thing. A reactionary ability, paint the town red. If this character dazes or KOs an enemy character with an attack during its activation, this character may use this superpower for 3 power. After the attack is resolved, this character advances short, removes all damage from itself, and then makes a Symbiote Tendrils attack. This superpower can only be used once per turn. Full heals for knocking or dazing people is incredibly strong, given that Carnage has 7 stamina. So if you're against a bad matchup where Carnage is dealing with lots of mystic and energy attacks, you're going to be relying on this to stay alive.
Yep. It's also the reason why you target, like, I will talk about how to use him towards the end of it. So we're going to talk about the next one, the arch nemesis Eddie Brock. When attacking an Eddie Brock, also known as Venom, this character may modify or reroll skull results and may reroll any number of attack dice. At the start of this character's activation, if there is a non-dazed Eddie Brock within 3 of this character, that must be the first priority. You must attack them first, if possible. So basically, if Venom's on the table, Carnage is going to have to go after him first, which kind of throws off your thing. Yes, you down below.
If they're nearby.
No, so if you were to take a Venom with you on your team, right?
It says enemy.
Fight,
it does say enemy on the ability.
But on the first part.
Well, no, the first part is what I'm asking about. So if you have him on your team and you've set off Sadistic Glee and you're using maximum carnage, you could attack him first, change all of your skull results so that way you don't get hurt by Sadistic Glee, and then to start throwing damage out and then come back to continue on your train.
All of that is true, but it's such a niche case that I applaud you for trying to engineer that. I don't know if that would be a benefit.
But it is true. You can, because
it's
it doesn't say an enemy when attacking an enemy Eddie Brock. It says just when attacking Eddie Brock. So if you have a friendly Venom within range, the first part of this actually is going to happen. You can reroll any number of attack dice. So if you spike your attack dice, and you're like, oh, that's going to kill my own Venom, you can reroll.
You all have found some weird synergy, and I applaud you for it.
Well, I mean, I know I'm probably going to bring him and a Venom together, so that's why I am asking specifically for myself before we get to our games.
Yeah, it's a weird niche case where the first part of that power works and the second part of the power does not on your own Eddie Brocks.
Cool.
So, do I have anything to say about this? I mean, not really. No. This rule exists.
It's like the Spider-Man.
It's not as good as Goblin attacking Peter Parker.
It's not, but it's still kind of cool.
Because if anything, Venom's just like, yeah, attack me. You've got 5 defense dice, but I'll still punch you back. You weak-limbed, spider-crawling son of a bitch.
We'll get to tricks
Look,
with Venom and Carnage.
Venom is actually not the person you want to be forced to attack.
No, if Carnage is going after Venom, something's wrong. Like,
all right, then another passive ability, Symbiotic Serial Killer. When this character is attacking, the defending character does not add dice to its defense roll for critical results.
that
This is cool.
is perfect. It's amazing. I like it.
It's not as good as Venom's.
It's not as good as Venom's, but
Venom's is just you can't modify your dice at all, which is potentially a lot more relevant, but still good.
This was with Maximum Carnage, and you're just like, hey, sorry, you can't reroll. You can't add more dice when you explode. Sorry. That's gonna be a lot of damage.
And finally, a passive ability for Wall Crawler, letting you ignore terrain. So, are there any differences on his injured side?
Not that I could
Nope.
see at first blush.
I actually like the injured side art better for some reason. All right, so
He's bleeding.
how do
Carnage.
how do you use him, Jake?
You want to know my opinion for how you use him?
Yep.
So there is a trend where more and more characters are kind of locked into physical. War Machine, Falcon. And so I think Carnage is an interesting meta pick for where the current sort of list composition is. There are a number of affiliations which, barring 1 or 2 models, are predominantly physical damage dealers.
Mhm.
For example, Magneto being purely physical means Carnage is a great counter pick against Magneto for 2 threat less. Especially since Carnage with his 5 physical also has 5 dodge, which means throwing shit at Carnage is not effective.
That is true.
So lists that rely on throwing objects or throwing terrain for a lot of their damage output are also going to struggle against Carnage for the same reasons. Now, Magneto nowadays can bring heavy Mystic support with Scarlet Witch and some energy from Quicksilver. But Brotherhood of Mutants, for example, before Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch came out, kind of struggled to deal non-physical damage. So, Carnage, I think, is a great drop. Same for Web Warriors, ironically enough. Web Warriors has a ton of physical attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And they do not have an overwhelming physical defense. Even Venom is probably one of their best poster boys for this. And even Venom still punch for punch, while he's definitely a tougher nut and he'll get more counterattacks back, Carnage probably does win out on average, going blow to blow with Venom. So I think Carnage is a wonderful drop against a Web Warriors affiliation, against a Brotherhood of Mutants affiliation, against certain Avengers builds.
Not Defenders.
Defenders, you absolutely do not take Carnage because your opponent will spend the 1 for days. And a lot of things which are usually safe can potentially one-shot on a spike or otherwise drop your Carnage to single activation.
Defenders is Strange, right?
Doctor Strange, yeah.
Yes.
Look,
but
so
he
just bring Carnage with Strange?
The Defender leadership ability says that they can pay 1 to change the type of their attack to whatever type they want.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Is it so? Is the ability just? It's affiliated characters,
right?
So,
which includes the whole list if you're meeting at least the minimum 50%.
Carnage in a defenders list could
so
change all his attacks to psychic. So, yeah, sorry, we crashed, and we're now back.
So I was saying is Jake. So if you bring Carnage with Strange, I know you were talking about defensive, but I just decided to change the topic. Sorry. Then you make Carnage do either energy or mystic for all his attacks, and then you do maximum Carnage with sadistic glee against everyone's weakest thing, and then you can just kill.
Yes, that would be effective. So yeah, that's a great way to use Carnage's damage output to your advantage. So sorry, where were we? Matchups. Okay. I think Carnage is gonna kind of struggle a little bit against anyone with decent range who can poke him. Kind of ironically enough, Shuri might be able to contain Carnage. and might be able to bully Carnage around the table, similar to how Shuri bullies Venom around the table by pushing him, keeping him from getting where he wants to go, and preventing him from getting to do what he wants to do, which is run up and hit people a bunch. Shuri can push him back, push him off points, and his low energy defense means that she's not going to have any problems getting off her push. Anyone else that can do any type of damage other than physical is similarly, I think, going to have an okay time. Now, a lot of those people may also be weak to physical damage or weaker, in which case Carnage will probably rip them to shreds. Carnage is super interesting. I think this one is going to be someone you absolutely take with you in your roster for a number of cases where you just need a 4-threat beat stick.
Yep.
That's going to do the job honestly really well, have an unusual amount of sustain. Like, if you're a Carnage by himself is a reason I think Web Warriors and Brotherhood of Mutants need to splash a non-physical damage dealer. Is because you can't let Carnage run the table. By chomping down on your 3 and 2 threat models to full heal, controlling Carnage and knowing how to manage him is going to be important. Now, once people get a chance to play against him more, I will see how much his advantages continue to stack up.
So I also see him as basically your missile. You kind of keep him hidden for a little bit, let everyone get into position, and then when you see an opening, like if you've got like I don't know if you, so I would even say like your maximum carnage is 5 power. I can see this being used once in a while, but his symbiote tendrils are kind of like your go-to bread and butter, where you're just like that person needs to die. You kind of get him into position, and then you launch your carnage at him. One of the reasons he doesn't have like a charge ability, and just rip them to pieces.
So I guess my main reason not to do that, hold him back for a second wave hit, is Carnage has nothing to do if he's not in melee. Carnage doesn't have any support abilities. He has no range past 3.
He does not. No.
So if he's not poking with Symbiote Tendrils at least range 3, then he's not really contributing anything for his 4 threat.
Well, actually, now that you're talking about that, he's got cards.
He does have 2 tactics cards. Let's look at his tactics cards.
Let's look at Carnage Rules real quick.
All right, Carnage can spend any number of power to play this card. Choose one enemy character within range 3 of Carnage for each power spent. The chosen character gains the Root special condition. Root.
This will be Carnage, but that there will
Yeah, I
be
was going to say that's not Carnage Rules.
Close enough.
Root requires your opponent to pay 1 more power for each superpower they use, which is cool. That's a great action economy, gum up the works. It's a strong debuff. It's one of those conditions that is really effective.
Short.
No.
Yeah. Oh.
Root is you pay more.
Oh, okay.
We can verify if you give me just a moment to pull up the rulebook. Feel free to edit this chunk out.
That's
will.
really confusing if it's you can't move.
I remember what root is simply because it is that confusing. This really should be makes you move slowly, because then it would make sense. Carnage is a serial killer. He's gonna catch you.
He's just wandering
instead,
in the
no. Carnage is gonna mess with your action economy and make you pay more.
I mean, like you do.
Special conditions. Root. Character must spend 1 power before using an active or reactive superpower.
Wow.
That's stupid.
That's weird.
That's totally misnamed.
Every single time we talk about Root, I'm so excited to be excited for it, and that it's never as good. But
always the same time. And we always do the same thing. We always go, wait, doesn't Ruby really move short? And it's like, every single time.
I'm trying to figure out why they call Root, and I have to think it's because of Groot. Like, he was the first person to bring the SAS condition into the game, and he did it by wrapping vines around people. The problem is they 100% just named this condition poorly.
Yeah.
Wait, which would still make sense if he rooted you to the ground.
Actually, slow. Slow is the condition where you can only use the short movement tool. So it doesn't help that there absolutely is a condition that makes you use the slow movement tool.
I mean, this part's not bad. having him run up do like a bunch of attacks, building up power, and then just basically going, "Hey, you 3 people that want to spend all your power, you're not spending extra." That's not bad. It is a good add-on.
I don't think I'd take it though.
I'm debating, like, it's a one-shot route, and I have other things that can do that. So, whatever. But Carnage Rules is the important one for me.
Nope. Carnage Rules are the one we just talked about.
Nope, you are a liar.
Nope.
That is, this there will be Carnage.
I have the card right here.
There will be Carnage. Carnage may spend 4 power during
not
his
gonna leave us.
activation to play this card. Choose an enemy character within 4 of Carnage. Advance the chosen character short towards Carnage. After the advance, Carnage may make a Symbiote Tendrils attack targeting the chosen character. So, this does a lot for you. Spend 4, get 1 more attack, which takes Carnage to potentially 4 attacks in a single turn. You also get to advance them short towards Carnage, so you get to mess with your opponent's positioning, and you can also potentially clump them up, where even though you have to spend 4 for this, if you make enough power off of it, you might be able to, off of the Symbiote Tendrils this card gives you, you might be able to pull off a maximum Carnage with now 1 more person nearby. I know that's everyone's dream scenario for this card.
Also, if you're like behind a truck that no one can see you because you're only a medium, you're only a size 2, and by moving somebody, because it doesn't require line of sight for Carnage Rules, you don't.
Again, this is There Will Be Carnage.
You're a liar. I have a card right in front of me that says.
I can't read it. It's blurry.
It's the card right in front of me. So,
James, would you like to read that card one more time? The one
Sure.
right in front of you that says Carnage Rules?
Sure, Carnage Rule. Carnage may spend 4 power during his activation to play this card. Choose an enemy character within 4 of Carnage. Advance this chosen character short towards Carnage. After the advance, Carnage may make a Symbiote Tendril attack, targeting the attacker, the chosen character.
Well, one of you is wrong. Either you are wrong or MCP database is wrong. And frankly,
database is
if
wrong.
that's where you're looking, MCP database is wrong.
I can't comprehend a world where MCP database is wrong. So I just have to believe you're a liar trying to save face.
It is backwards. So
I mean, I can come over and show you that we're
no,
right.
no,
that'd be funny.
no, that would ruin the illusion.
So just turn to the side and just hand to him. So
CJ?
like I said, if you're hiding behind a like a truck or something, and you need to get like somebody, you don't want to expose yourself, but you do want to get somebody there. Having him move him that short, and then now you can see him and do some Symbiote Tendrils, pretty dang awesome. I would take this one. I would not take There Will Be Carnage. I think getting that route is a great idea, but I think that moving somebody short for 4 is, and then doing a free attack is nice, because you're more than likely going to get back at least some of your power on this.
So overall with Carnage, I think we take whichever card of his lets you pull someone. How I would use him, and I would use him if I was building a Spider Foes or just a number of lists, because his stat block is so interesting. Like, he is one of the tankiest, perhaps most deadly physical threat based or physical attack based characters of the game, simply because there are a number of lists that are predominantly physical attack based. So he's a great counter to several potential lists. His balancing act is his very poor defenses for other types of damage. I much like a serial killer, it's all about knowing your target.
So Mysterio
How
has
would
the
you
kind
know
of
about that?
Mysterio kind of has the same thing. Mysterio, I think, is
115.
I probably would not bring Carnage and Mysterio in the same list, just because that puts a lot of weird non-defensive tech into your thing. You're going to have to defend Carnage against his weaknesses, and having 2 characters you need to do that for is probably not a good idea.
Mysterio has smoke and mirrors. When an enemy character targets this character with an attack, this character may use its eyeball defense regardless of the attack's type.
Yeah, but
unless the attacking player pays 2.
We'll talk about Mysterio. Mysterio is actually even weirder than Carnage. Carnage is definitely going in my list because he's a good overlap between Definitely Spyro foes. But Criminal Syndicate, since they overlap almost completely anyway, he's a good addition for that because Criminal Syndicate wants to be clumped up on top of objective tokens. And if you don't have anyone on the top of an objective, and now Carnage counts as 2 people while doing maximum Carnage, bonuses everywhere. So I think I'm going to bring him in. That's why I painted
Carnage.
the weekend.
Carnage is definitely not the absolutely will not take him some people were yelling about when he first was revealed. I think Carnage is absolutely it's going to be a case where you start to see people kind of scalpel out who the knowledge of both your opponent's list is going to come into play when using Carnage. Even if it's something as simple as your opponent deploys first, so you hold on to deploying Carnage until the very last deployment, and you put them on the opposite side of the board from the thing that can actually hurt them.
Learn the line of sight and cover rules. Adding an extra die, changing.
It does not add an extra die.
Sorry, changing a die because of cover.
Mm-hmm.
On a 5 dice physical defense, that's amazing. But it can also save you. It could save your life if you got hit by an energy attack.
Yep. Carnage is only size 2 despite his large base, so he can hide behind a pretty wide variety of terrain pieces. And with Wall Crawler, he is not really held up by them.
Yep.
So again, just be aware of what happens when you're on top of cover. So Carnage has line of sight to shoot things out of it without losing the benefit of cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am working on a Web Warriors list. Carnage is definitely on my mind as something I need to have an answer to. I need to be able to play around because Web Warriors themselves, I can think of Miles has an energy attack.
Miles has a energy attack, yes.
Otherwise, we're very physical heavy, which Carnage is laughing about. So that's a hard matchup.
I mean, just bring Strange. Or Hood if he's got an energy attack, which he should. Or a psychic attack, which he should.
But James, they're not Web Warriors.
Yeah, go outside your box, Jake.
Not for a 5-point model.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
If I'm going outside my box, I'm taking multiple 3-point models.
I really want to have Hulk run up to Carnage and just be like, Hulk smash, and just Carnage just like, yeah, whatever.
I actually would rather have 2 3-point models, or hell, even Okoye with her cheap energy attacks. I would rather
walking down, escorting Carnage just to take the energy and psychic attacks off them.
Also effective. No, I would actually rather send 2 low-cost models with plentiful cheap energy or mystic attacks. So
tell us, yeah, that's Carnage.
So thank you guys so much for watching. We're hopeful we'll be back on our regular recording schedule for the next few weeks. Thank you so much to everyone who helped out with our Extra Life stream last weekend and helped contribute towards
$200 last count.
What was that, James?
$1,200 last count.
Oh, we have people donate.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So yep. Game off.
Bye. All right.